Big Ramy comeback. That's what I'm hearing. Stay tuned. I created Species Nutrition with one mission in mind: to provide bodybuilders and serious athletes with no-nonsense supplements that work. I put my name and reputation on every bottle of Species Nutrition products. If you want to be your absolute best, join the evolution.
It just came out! Look at that!
I love it!
We got the wrong intro in there. I almost forgot what show it was, but it's Heavy Muscle Radio time. I'm Dave Palumbo with Chris Aceto, back again for another great show. And I heard a rumor from you, actually. You're my source. I'm giving up my source. That Big Ramy's on the comeback trail. Are we going to see Ramy on stage in 25?
To clarify for people, Dave said we have to talk about. And I said, we never have nothing to talk about. And he said, what should we talk about? I said, nothing. And then I said, how about Big Ramy? Dave said, what? And I said, quote, I heard he's making a comeback. And Dave,
you made up the story. Is that the idea?
Dave goes like, where'd you hear that? I said, I saw it on Instagram, which is all factual now.
Oh, it is. Okay.
And then Dave said, what is the source? I said, there is no source. So it could have been a guy in there, you know, a kid in his bedroom basement next to Joe Biden's house. Just spewing it out there to see if people like you and I would like report on it.
Yeah, well, this could be our last day of the United States of America, right? Tomorrow is the inauguration. Who knows? We might not make it to tomorrow, so we better enjoy tonight.
I thought you were going to say because TikTok is banned.
Now they gave it. Trump gave it a reprieve.
Yeah.
So. Now talking about Ramy. Oh wait, hold on. What is Sid putting up there? I don't want to eclipse you. I had a funny clip Sid I was going to put up. What are you putting up, Sid? Big Ramy will participate in the Mr. Olympia in 25. You're right, Chris, and will be a fierce competitor to Samson Dauda. I would like to know your opinion, but based on a statement of Mr. Nasser El Mosabi, the official sponsor of Big Ramy. So Big Ramy's sponsor is putting it out there, which means that he signed Ramy probably under the idea that he would make a comeback. I'm assuming that's probably what happened, right?
So,
do you know his sponsor personally, Chris?
No, I don't know.
Okay.
His sponsor or sponsors.
Can Ramy beat Samson, you think, at this point in time?
I think Ramy is dangerous in any show he does.
Just because he's so big, yeah.
He's so big. You know, we talked about this, I think, I was
no
on
clarification from Big Ramy.
I was on Isis Danino's show, and he said, who's the biggest guy you ever saw? It. I didn't even hesitate. It was 2015 Arnold Classic weekend. Ramy was not competing. He was in like an off season, and he was
234.
You're 100.
334. Excuse me. Yeah.
It was, a trained eye would look at him and not know what they were looking at. Just too much to look at. It's like, honest to goodness, Dave. It's like going into, I'll give you the real estate analogy.
Mm-hmm.
Go into lots of condos. I could price out probably any market within one day of just give me a day to go through Cape Coral, all the 2,000 square foot condos and homes there.
Right.
And tell you what the real value is when you go in and you say, Chris, what do you think the value of this is? Because you're comparing things, 2,000 to 2,000 to 2,000 square feet, 900, maybe this one's 2,200. But if you brought me into a Cape Coral mansion that was like 19,000 square feet, I'd say, Dave, come on, Dave. I have no idea. What am I even looking at here?
Right.
Bigger than these. And that's the way a trained eye would look at him. That was 2015 March. So I know it's 10 years removed, but I'm just making the point that he's dangerous in any show just because if you really want to break, if width has any, Jay Cutler built a career on width in quads.
Sure.
And if, if there's any merit to width and quads, even after 10 years, those two features are not going away. And you never know, Dave. You know what? The thing is, when people take long layoffs, some people just lose the eye of the tiger. Some people can get better because their body truly is rested. It is a long layoff. Even though,
you're right. You're right.
It is a long layoff. But
by the way, I got my Make America Healthy Again shirt, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. I'm supporting. So.
When do you get him on the show?
I don't know. I'm working on it, to be honest with you. So you never know.
I know. Without even knowing, I know you're working on it.
I got to get him on before he starts working, though. Then he's going to be too busy doing, making America healthy. So.
Dave does little interviews in Portland, Maine when he was up here.
Did he really? Oh, that's cool.
It was like when he was running for president, he was doing interviews with like.
I was doing with everyone. Yeah, with everyone. Yeah, I got to get him on. I need it this time.
No one has the stories that he has.
No, he's great.
Because I was like, "Is this your first time in Portland, Maine?" He said, "No, I used to sail up here when I was 8 years old with my uncle."
8 when he was 8. Yeah, with John F. Kennedy. Yeah. Oh my God. Hey, so anyway, getting back to Ramy for a minute, I wanted to show you this. I love when bodybuilders do creative stuff, right, Chris?
Sure.
So Ramy evidently did some. I don't know. It's in Arabic, so it's hard to tell what he's saying. So we decided to take you on a new and exciting experience to surprise our customers. Do you expect that we will be with you next time? This is how Trump was in McDonald's serving McDonald's. So they get Ramy in some kind of burger joint here. Look, watch this.
بوين لو كالوري من وياي بجرامي يا حبيبي بلا كلام فاضي خلينا نوصل شنو الفكره مالتنا راح نوصل الطلبات مع كالوري خلونا اليوم احنا دليفري الطلبات الزباين صرنا نشتغل دليفري حلوا خبزنا كرام ايوه نوصل خلاص احنا طالعين يا عم خليهم من هو هم اختاروا خلاص مقاس 1 2 3 كم الاول
It's even funny in Arabic. Or Farsi.
اخو شعب وياكم وين؟
Hey Chris, how great is that?
لو كالوري من وياي
This is like Kai Green the territory. They got Ramy in now.
Well, I wouldn't say that, but
it's great because Ramy actually has a very good sense of humor, and a lot of people don't realize that because I think when he was competing, he was very uptight about and so worried about what everyone thought about him. But if you remember, before he started competing, remember that old clip we had of Ramy where he was kind of losing his hair.
training.
He was like when he flexed his arm in the gym, and it was like like 20 inches. He only been training for like a week, and I said, "This guy's funny. I don't know what happened to him." And now he's back to doing goofy stuff. I love it. I think that's great. Good job, Ramy. That's you got to do more of those things. It's very funny, and it's funny because everyone in wherever he is now, I don't know, was he in Dubai? They all know who he is. That's the funny thing. Like any normal kid anywhere will recognize Ramy. So he must be representing this. What is this? Low calorie meal or something like that? Low calories meal. I'm trying to see what it is. He's supposed to be at the Dubai Muscle Show. Oh, this is old. That was old. Oh, that was old. Never mind. I don't think he's posted anything too recently. So what does he have? His own? I think he has his own product line, Chris. Now.
Yeah, I think he has his line, right? He's had that for a while.
Oh, that's the old clip. Oh, Sid got the old clip. That's great. Like Ramy looks like he's 45 there, and he's only probably 20. Something. That's great. Yeah, that was great. I'm telling you, Ramy has got to be an actor. That is phenomenal.
Myostatin, Dave.
No, 0 myostatin. Hold on, let me pull my thing up. Look at this one. So he's got is this his new line of products? It says Ramy Labs or something like that, doesn't it?
For a while.
He's had this for a while.
Maybe
Big Ramy Labs, yeah.
Maybe I get it confused with another company.
Big year with Red Rex, building bigger bodies. All right. Well, good for you, Ramy. I'm glad to see you. You're becoming a businessman. That's great. I thought this was P. Diddy for me.
What's that?
That's great. Oh, what happened? You said you cut me off. I was playing a funny commercial. You said, "Let me play this commercial." Did this play already? I wasn't watching. Did you see this, Chris?
Yeah, the food delivery one you played.
No, this is a different one.
Second one.
Ramy, I love it. I love it. I really do. I love the people who have to let their personality out. All right, I got to tell you, there's a fake Greg Valentino going around, and Greg's very, very pissed off about it, and we're banning you, by the way, fake Greg Valentino. So sorry. It's one thing to make up like goofy names. It's another thing to pretend that you're someone else. That we don't tolerate here in the comments. You can say whatever you want about me and Chris. We don't give a shit, but don't impersonate other people and then try to portray yourself as someone else. So we don't like that. What's horrible audio? Are we not hearing something?
No, the audio is terrible on those Ramy videos.
Oh, they are? They
Yeah.
sound perfect on my computer.
That's still funny, even if you
Yeah.
you get you can't understand the language anyway. So, but you can still laugh at the.
That's true. That's true. I want to bring up this. The whole Shawn Ray thing is so annoying. I don't even know what we're talking about, but we have nothing else to talk about. Shawn Ray, went on this tirade about you, about Jarek Lunsford not needing a coach. You kind of annihilated him last week. Bob and Shawn don't think that you annihilated him, and they think that you're confused by what he said. And if you are confused, because Shawn thinks that, Sid, I can't hear it. The audio's not playing, Sid. Yeah, so the audio wasn't playing. You weren't playing the audio. I might have to do it from my end. I don't know if you can play audio. Well, you should be able to play audio from your end, Sid.
Dave, to clarify.
Well,
Let's listen.
Understand the words coming out of one of our mouths, because Chris went on this little rant of an analogy. He says to Dave, can you imagine in a boxing match that the boxer goes over, the bell rings, and he goes back over to the corner, and there's a little fat bald guy coach, training in there, and it's this really weird analogy. And he says, and they say, hey, can you look at this guy? What does he know? He doesn't look like he's ever boxed a day in his life. And I thought to myself, that's the weirdest analogy I've ever. And then it dawned on me what he was talking about. So let me clarify this for you, my friend. Okay.
Yeah.
When you said Chris in the gym, okay, he's not there. He's not this. You remember that whole sequence, right?
Yeah. Right.
He thought you were saying because he doesn't look like a big bodybuilder, and Chris did compete many, many years ago in the NPC, but that's irrelevant.
I know his history.
But he thought you meant because he doesn't train in the gym and he's not an active bodybuilder, that somehow that disqualified him from having any knowledge. That's not what you said at all. You meant him being physically in the gym with the person that you're representing or training or coaching.
That's what a coach does. They show up on the field. If I want a quarterback coach to help my quarterback develop better skills, or my boxer to work on his jab or his left hook or his uppercut, I've got to be in the gym doing those things. Chris can't teach Mr. Olympia how to train. Aceto can't teach him.
Stop it, Sid. Let me ask you a question, Chris. Why is Shaun so confused about what you do and what you've been doing for the last 30 years, which is getting guys in shape via diet, nutritional supplements, and gear? Why does he think that all of a sudden that you're an in-the-gym coach that is training people in the gym? I don't understand why he's so confused. They're acting like we don't know what we're talking about. Why is Shaun so confused by your role in this industry for 30 years?
Well, he's pretending he's confused.
I like your sunglasses.
He's confused, Dave, because I call him out. The point is, I'm not calling him out on me being a guru. I'm calling him out on the fact that he's despicable, and that's it. And I'll summarize and I'll add one to last week. Last week I said he was, and this is what Bob Ciccarello should be talking to him about and asking him about. He was the official announcer for the Olympia competition where people watch from all over the world. And unlike Jordan Madden, I said, when the competitor went up, who was third place in the competition for his mandatories, Shawn Ray talked about his marriage. That is beyond the pale, just as dancing on the grave the same day that Dallas McCarver died is beyond the pale. So is saying that Sean Roden had recreational drug issues and everybody knows about it. That's beyond the pale. The list goes on of the things that have come out of his mouth. So unbeknownst to Bob Chick, the issue I have is not with Shawn Ray having the right to say whatever he wants to say. It's that I just think he's a despicable person. I mean, you can drag in his mother if you want to go into the ditch. You can talk about, when Jay Cutler I told you, was making a comeback in 2013, Shawn Ray went on MD every single day to say, this is just a farce.
Yeah.
He's not competing. There's no way he's competing. You guys are fools to think that he's competing. I am, quote, guarantee you he is not competing. Guess what? He competed.
Yeah. And it's interesting because he also, Jay had a coach. Jay had a coach too. So
my point is, you know what? He did not have a coach and he did not win the Olympia.
Right.
End of story. And, he did win an Arnold. He came back the next year and got 5th at the Arnold. And then his career was like torpedoed from there. It's not to say Shawn Ray is a great bodybuilder without a shadow of a doubt. I'm just saying he's a despicable person.
Right. But why is he pretending? Why is he pretending that you're a coach in the gym? Why is he pretending that? He knows that's not the case.
I don't believe necessarily in canceling people, but because people make mistakes. So you should never cancel someone for saying like one off the cuff thing that is just not true.
Yeah.
But when you're announcing Olympia shows and you're dancing on graves, multiple people talking about people who never did drugs, having problem with drugs, it's like beyond the pale.
Right. But I agree with you. He's a despicable person. I think everyone agrees with you. But let's go back to what he's saying. You gave an analogy about how, a person who looks like they don't even know what they never boxed a day in their life could be a great boxing coach. All right. In boxing, most of the training comes down to what you do in the gym. In bodybuilding, yes, there's training in the gym, but what bodybuilders need help with is how to arrange their diet, cardio, fat burning drugs, the drugs they take, the supplements. That's what they need. That's your expertise. That's what you do. That's what you were hired to do for Derek Lunsford. Why is he pretending like you were hired to be his in-gym trainer, which is not the truth? If anything, he's been being trained by Chris Cormier and the guy from Brazil. So I don't even know why they're having such trouble understanding your analogy, number one, and what your role is in his prep for the Arnold. I don't understand it. I know that Shaun is an intelligent guy, so I don't know why he's pretending to not understand what you're talking about. And I know Bob's just feeding for entertainment purposes because Bob knows what's going on. But Shaun literally seems confused to me. Maybe he's got dementia.
No, he's he's on his A game when it comes to pretending. You know, he'll pretend and say the things that he said about Shawn. He'll pretend that he didn't say the things that he said about Dallas. He'll pretend that he didn't say the things that he said about Jay Cutler. He'll make believe and pretend that he didn't say the things he said about Kai Green to me. He'll pretend that he didn't say the things that he said about Lee Thompson. He'll pretend that he didn't say the things that he said about Jose Raymond. I mean, the list goes on. So he'll pretend that, you know, he's not quite sure what I do.
Right. Well, I just wanted to clarify that because I thought it was kind of annoying. Yeah.
Dave, that is fine with me. I know what I do. The athletes that I help know what I do. And that's, you know, a full stop, end of story. You know, and like I said, my beef with Shawn Ray is him as a person, you know. Simple as that.
I agree with you. But I wanted to clarify that also.
I mean, there's people in the sport I've had the biggest arguments you could ever imagine with, the biggest, craziest arguments, disagreements, and I still to this day respect their point of view. I respect their opinion. I understand in many times where they were coming from, even though to this day I may disagree with them, but they had intentions that behind their argument that were good. They may be different than mine, but they had good intentions, you know, either for themselves or people that they care about. And that's not the case with the beloved Shawn Ray. I call him the beloved Shawn Ray. That's the nickname. He's earned that. Beloved Ray. He's loved by everybody.
All right. I have another thing I want to ask you. Just trying to pull a picture. Oh, here we go. So what do you think about Trump pulling John Voight, Sly Stallone, and Mel Gibson to clean up Hollywood?
I didn't hear the news
You
yet.
didn't see this? Yeah.
From TikTok, Dave, and it's shut down for a day. So
See, all your news information was no longer available to you. I got you.
Hey, wait a minute. It didn't come from the Post, did it? Because I read the New York Post.
It came. No, it's all over everywhere. Trump wrote it on Truth Social, and Stallone, John Voight, and Mel Gibson are going to be his liaisons to Hollywood, where he wants to clean up Hollywood and make Hollywood great again. I love it. I love John Voight, by the way. He's one of my favorite actors.
Yeah, I don't have any really comment on it because it's just, you know, Hollywood is Hollywood. It's the antithesis of the right, left of left of left.
Yeah. Well, they essentially canceled Mel Gibson years ago, and you know, I'm sure whatever he did was no worse than probably what a lot of other guys did there. So
cancel the cancelings, with the exception of Shawn Ray. Right? I mean, come on, the canceling of people for just like.
Well, I think Hollywood has gone. I think we've gone downhill, to be honest with you, a lot. And I think that Hollywood used to be the creme de la creme of, like, you know, everything. You know, that's America was always known for the best movies, the best TV, the best entertainment. And you know, with the crazy stuff that's going on lately in this world, and these stars that I'm so happy that these stars, you know, went out and they try to campaign for the other side, and then they lost. So it just goes to show you, people don't want to know what Jennifer Lopez thinks about who she thinks they should vote for president. They want to just hear about, you know, what Jennifer Lopez thinks about skincare, and Jennifer Lopez thinks about making movies, because that's what she's good at. So, you know, I think the people should stay in their lane. I think if you're, you know, I don't want to know what Jennifer Lopez thinks about bodybuilding because she has no insights into it. But when it comes to acting, you know, and making movies, yeah, she's very good at what she does.
Stay in my lane, Dave. I'm not commenting on the liaisons because I don't know enough about it. One thing I don't like to do is talk about a topic in which I don't really know.
Yeah. All right, let me ask you a question. Who should be the 3 bodybuilding liaisons to the White House for bodybuilding?
Okay, Jay for sure.
Yeah, who else?
let's see, Jay, probably be. Got to really think hard about that.
I think Derek Lunsford would be a great guy in there.
Yeah, you got to throw in probably the real Valentino too, because Trump would probably love him. Put him in some type of right.
I'd put Dexter Jackson in there.
There's a lot of good. You know, we got
Evan Laroni.
We got a lot of good bodybuilders, good personalities, good people who could do a lot of good things if they weren't so. You know, it's so funny, Dave. There's a lot of people who you've met in bodybuilding. You say they'd be good in like government, but it's just like government gets swallowed up by like not the best people, right?
Yeah, would Lee Priest be? He'd be a bad representative for us or a good representative?
Who?
Lee Priest.
Lee would. Well, you know what? He has strengths. You know, he would tell it like it is.
He'd be great, I think. I'd say Lee, Jay, and Dexter. That's my pick. Milos would be arguing too much with Trump.
Yeah, he would be. He would be.
He'd be advocating for the symmetry round. You know,
best announcer for the inauguration, which is going to be held indoors. Bob.
Yeah.
Or Sadiq or Sid.
I think they should have an announce off, you know.
Bob, to your credit, someone sent me that and I was tempted, but I was almost barely mature enough to bite my tongue to say something negative about you. But you don't, unlike Shawn, it doesn't seem like you do tell crazy lies about people. And also, when it came to announcing, I think you were absolutely incredible. I love the Olympia when Bob announces. I think he does a great job.
Yeah, he does. He does do a good job.
I think he adds to the show where a lot of announcers in other sporting events, they support the show.
Right.
And they do a good job. But you need someone who adds like a tempo and a sense of pomp and circumstance to the show.
You gotta have importance to the voice too, and his voice projects importance. You know, when he announces people.
Also, he knows how to deliver lines. You know, when they need to be delivered to lighten things up, or
right.
You know, he knows how to build a crescendo when we're at an important part of the finals comparisons. So.
He does a great job. I whether whatever our history was in the past, I always go up to him and tell him he did a great job after the show because he does do a good job, really good job at the Olympia too. Did this year. So, having said that, I'm sending Jay. I'm sending Dexter because I think those two are great. I think Dexter would really say what's on his mind, and I would send Lee Priest there. I really would. I think you need someone who's going to be who's not going to be afraid to speak his mind. Jay might be a little too politically correct. Dexter's a little bit of comedy in there. You got to throw a little comic relief in there. I think that's a good trio.
Nothing wrong with being politically correct. So, on the outside, as long as you're, a lot of people are politically correct, but the way they manage things on the inside is totally different than they.
Well, yeah, Dexter's very well spoken. He's the winningest bodybuilder of all time. Jay's the most respected bodybuilder of all time, and I think Lee is the not afraid to hold back on anything. So
you garner leverage at times by being politically correct with the right audience.
Sure.
Doesn't mean you have to act.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, they'll skew you.
Right. Right.
There's different levels to being politically correct, I should say. I'm not talking like to the absolutely insane degree.
Mm-hmm. I hear speaking of Mel Gibson, did you hear there's a new Lethal Weapon movie coming out?
I did hear that, yeah.
That's exciting. I love those movies. That's like, that's part of like our childhood. You can't get enough of that. Let me see if I can find something on that movie. I'm glad that they're letting him get back into the movies because
You know, it's funny.
I miss them.
You get to Hollywood, you know, I was going to say this, like, oh, movies were better, like, during this time frame, but like the 80s and 90s or 2000s, but your father would tell you, oh, movies were far better, you know, when he was in his 30s and 40s.
Yeah, I'm sure. I think there's a lot of good actors today. I'm not like one of these people that thinks like only the movies in the 80s that I watched were good. I think the movies today are better. I think there are some classic movies though that we saw in the 80s and 90s that are amazing. Godfather comes to mind, Goodfellas. But I think that there's a lot of really good movies. As a matter of fact, I think there's more good content being made nowadays. Like I'll watch on Apple TV or I'll watch Netflix. I mean, there's more content that's actually high quality versus I think back in the 90s and early 2000s, you had to basically go to the movies to see something good. Now you can actually, every night on TV, there's series and stuff like that that are like, they're almost movie quality really is what they are.
You expressed your quasi-white Italian bias with Goodfellas and the
Godfather. If you haven't seen it, you got to watch the movie, the making of They have this like the movie how the Godfather was made. It's on. I think it's on Netflix. I don't remember what it's called now, but it was really good about how they made the Godfather. How hard it was to make that Godfather movie.
You had sent me the house, or I sent it to you in the house in Staten
Island.
Oh,
you sent it in Staten Island. Yeah. I think Leon Brown was living there for a while. It's funny. I was talking to this guy out here in Cape Coral. He used to be the mayor of Sanibel Island, and he's from Staten Island. And he said he used to train at Mario Strong's gym. I think I was telling you this. And I said, the only person I know from Staten Island, that's famous is Leon Brown. I said, and I know Leon Brown's in the Hall of Fame, the Staten Island Hall of Fame. I said, do you know Leon Brown? He goes, of course I know Leon. Leon Brown was at the gym every single day. And usually he was there drunk, from the night before, because Leon was a big drinker. And he would come to the gym the morning after drinking and he would reek of alcohol. And they said this guy said he'd get under the bench press 405, rest pausing on his chest. He was just an unbelievable genetic freak, If Leon didn't have a problem going out and, hanging out with the women and drinking, he probably would have been a very good pro bodybuilder, I'm sure. And so he's like the star of Staten Island. Someone should make a movie about him.
Dave, you send me all the Ali videos, and so does Jose Raymond, and I watch one of them, and I've seen most of them. The one time he gets like crazy serious is when they interview him. I might have said this on the show before, and they say the interviewer says, where's your advantage? He said, I'm in bed by 9.
Yeah.
The
hardest thing he said is to do is to stay away from the women and get in bed at 9 o'clock. Yeah.
And it said, I don't drink and I stay away from the woman. I'm in bed at 9. He said, and I want to be in bed at 9, but I need to be in bed at 9 if I'm going to stay on top.
Yeah. He said, if I want to be the best. Yeah. He said, that's the hardest thing to do. The hardest.
The other great quote, he has so many great quotes, and it applies to bodybuilding. They asked him about like sit-ups. He said, I only start counting them when they feel it really hard. When it starts to feel hard to do, that's number 1. And then
yeah. Did you see this this new IFBB rule? I kind of came across it on Instagram. Hold on, let me pull this up. This girl Carly Frucci posted it. An active IFBB member, so an IFBB pro, who chooses not to renew his or her membership automatically becomes an inactive member and may remain inactive for up to 3 years. Both active and inactive members must abide by the rules, policies. If a member does not become active within the 3-year period, the member's IFBB pro status will be canceled and can only be reestablished through a pro qualifier, meaning you have to requalify. Athletes who held IFBB pro status before 2023 and who have not renewed their memberships have until December 31st, 2025 to become active members. Otherwise, their IFBB pro status will be canceled and can be only reestablished through a pro qualifier. What do you think about that?
Sounds like my short-term rental license. And if I don't renew it, even if I don't do any rentals, I still do it.
Yeah.
And if I don't renew it,
well,
But I'm fine. If I renew it, I wait.
Right.
It's 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
You have to go back into the lottery just to get. Oh, that's important to get your license.
Yeah. I think that rather than renewing the IFBB Pro card, I would think that competing would be something that they might want to put on the table, right? If you don't,
You've got to renew it to compete.
right? But you can renew it and not compete either. But so they're saying you need to at least renew it every 3 years, because if you don't, you're going to lose your status as a pro.
You're talking about the same thing. It's like I won my pro card. Let's say someone wins their pro card in 2005 and they want to compete again in 2014. Like the competition probably bypassed you anyway.
Right, but let's say you want to make a comeback. In the past, you can do it. You just have to re-buy your pro card. Now, what they're telling you is if you let the thing expire more than 3 years starting now, not back then,
Like
then
a GoDaddy.
you're going to lose your pro card essentially, or your pro status you're going to lose.
Same thing as GoDaddy. You don't renew the damn thing. Dave
Well,
Palumbo.
you'll lose your URL. Yeah. So
Strange about that.
I guess the take-home message is, guys, make sure you renew your pro cards every year if you do intend to compete in the future. Now, what they did was they grandfathered it in. So let's say you got a pro card in 2002 and you haven't renewed it because you haven't really competed. If you want to keep that pro card and that pro status active, you have until, what did they say? I forgot what it was. That you have till something recently to get the thing done.
I would make it fun, David.
You have until December 25th. So you got until the end of this year to renew it, okay, if you want to keep it active. So some people are saying they don't like that. They don't like the fact that they're going to take away people's pro status for that. But I think if I was doing it, I would make the people actually compete. I'd be like, if you don't compete for 3 years or 5 years, then guess what? I don't care if you renew it or not. You're not keeping the pro card. You got to compete to keep it active. That's what they should really do.
People who don't agree with it, but that's
Lee Priest has often said the IFBB Pro should have to compete a certain amount of times in the year to give it a time period, at least once every 2 years. I agree. I think it doesn't have to be every 2 years, but I think at least every 5 years you should be able to compete to keep it active, or otherwise you got to re-qualify.
What are you doing if you don't compete for outside of an injury? What are you doing if you're not in a 3-year bulk session?
Yeah, I don't know, but that's the new rule. Just want to update you guys. All right, I have another status update for Samson Dauda. I want to bring that up. I don't think we've seen this one. We might have. If we did, you'll tell me. We've seen this one. Looks like a freak here. Holy mac! 6 weeks out from the Arnold right here. Give me a ranking on the Samson Dauda ranking scale, 1 to 10. How does he look here?
Front last word's definitely better.
Tony Freeman says it's curtains for everyone else. Bravo, my brother. Jay Cutler even says amazing.
Yeah, it looks great.
Shawn Ray's pointing at himself. I don't know what that means. Best back double I've seen from him.
Yeah.
He's got glutes and hams up to his ears. His only drawback in my mind, if you want to compare him to like the likes of Ronnie and stuff like that, is he's a little narrow. His width is not as wide as like Ronnie or Jay. He's a little narrow, but he's got so many like bells and whistles and so many like gifts. I don't think it even matters, But that's being super critical.
He looks great.
Yeah. I think he's gonna be very difficult to beat.
Looks great. Period.
He looks like he's almost ready now. I don't know if that's how many weeks out would you say he is here?
Not 6.
No, he's definitely. All right. So that's the update on Samson Dauda. I don't think anyone's going to touch this guy at the Arnold if he comes in looking anything remotely like he is right here. But Derek Lunsford has beaten this guy before, not at his best, not when Samson was at his best. And I've seen the pictures of Lunsford from you, and he looks like a big freak too. So I think we're going to see a really good battle now.
Dave, I think did I send you a picture of Derek Lunsford? I don't think so.
You sent me something of him with spandex on or something like that. Remember that picture you sent me?
Don't post it if I send
I'm
it.
not posting anything. I'm not posting anything. But I'm just saying I saw a picture and he looked really good. With the one you sent me.
Oh.
He was standing with that. What's his name? The guy.
Oh, you mean like in the gym?
The tall guy in the gym. Yeah.
Yeah.
He looked like his legs were insane looking. His legs are definitely like the old Derek legs that we've seen in the past. So here's some pictures. This is good, but this is not even what Chris sent me. Although that was the same guy he was training with.
No, I sent you something that was on Instagram.
Oh, you did? Well, he looked good, that picture. So then we should be able to pull that up.
The Patrolic from Brazil.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you this question. So give me both the vulnerabilities of both Derek and this is the picture. Yeah, that's the picture. I thought he looked really great at. What is Derek's vulnerability? What is Derek's vulnerability to Samson, and what's Samson's vulnerability to Derek? If you had to break it down.
Derek's vulnerability to Samson is that Samson is taller, and there's more of him. Samson's vulnerability would be
back shots.
Back shots. And yeah, it's a close show. Yeah, I mean, it's a close between those two. It's because it's easy to compare like Derek to Hardy, right?
Yeah.
It's hard to compare Samson because he's the biggest guy on the stage. So what are you comparing?
Right, but does Samson have an advantage now because he's the sitting Mr. Olympia, or do you think it's going to be very fairly judged because both of them are former Mr. Olympias?
I think they'll just judge what.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't limit it to two names, but I think they're just going to judge what shows up at whatever shows up in front of them. Period.
Looking at this lineup, I don't see there. I think it's the two of them and everyone else. I don't think it's anything.
I'm saying in terms of what they're looking at is what they're going to judge. End of period.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the judges come into these shows, the big shows. I think judges, just like anyone else, if it was a small show, they'd come in with preconceived ideas of what people look like and maybe give some attention to what so-and-so look like 4 weeks out, 9 weeks out, 2 weeks out, just, out of curiosity. Well, I expect this guy to look like this, but at the big shows, it's just like you can't just judge in what you see, period. Because nothing else matters, and the big shows are the ones that they love to get exactly right.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so you have to be like crowd out everything except what you see in front of you. And frankly, I don't know. That's a tough question to handicap. And the compliment going back to Samson is that he's a big guy. I mean, a lot of muscle plus tall. So what are you comparing him to? That's why I said, it's hard to compare them.
Oh, look at this. We got a tip.
Doesn't mean that they're not comparable. It's just harder too.
Question for you, and this was a $10 tip, Canadian money. Would Aceto feel a little bit vindicated if he got Lunsford to win and reclaiming of his title like Hani did for Jay in 2009? I know I'd like a lot since Jay went to Hani and now Lunsford goes to Chris.
I would love just to say yes, but
Can I answer the question for you?
What's horrible is people just, I don't care.
I was going to say that. Yeah.
I don't care. What I only care about is, I hope Derek's at his best.
Yeah.
And I hope Samson's at his best. and everyone else in the lineup, but I don't care at all. End of story. And maybe if I cared more, maybe I'd be a better coach. I don't know.
No, I'm gonna give you the real answer. The real answer is that, first of all, Chris is so competitive that he wants all his athletes to win every show. I can tell you that, whether he admits it or not. He might downplay it.
That's true.
But there's always that little bit. If Derek wins the show, it's definitely gonna be a feel good moment for Chris for sure.
Good moment, but
Because he wouldn't be human if it wasn't. So that's the answer. That's the real answer.
true.
But you want all your guys to win. I know you were very competitive.
That's true. But at the same time, I'm competitive in within myself. So I want to see what I can do with Derek. Period.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. I'm not thinking like Jay Cutler. I'm not thinking Derek, third place at the Olympia. I'm not thinking Derek 212 champion. I'm not thinking Derek fourth place at the, 212 Olympia, or that stuff never even enters my stratosphere. I don't have. I have to be the most worry-free person, Dave, who preps people. I don't worry about like adults. That's why, I always say too, when someone, I think someone should win a show, and I'll tell them, my opinion is you won the show. Let's say they get second, and I always follow it up with, but I can see the judge's point too. People get pissed when I say that.
Well, I've seen you go off
I've told
on
people
some decisions that you didn't think were right. I've seen you go off before. I mean, there's not many of those out there, but there are some that we've discussed where we both were like really not happy with it.
Overall is really good. The last 2 years, last 5 or 6.
Sometimes you get some European ones where there's a weird, head judge and stuff like that, and things don't go quite the way they should, and we've made a big deal.
I won't say his name, Dave. I've been to shows where I won't say his name, Lee Thompson. Butchered the results.
Yeah.
And I've been at shows, by the way, just one more since I brought up Lee Thompson's name.
Yeah.
Shows where Lee Thompson kicked out competitors, and guess who was the cheerleader with the booties and the pom-poms and the songs to say kick him
Your
out?
buddy Shawn Ray.
Shawn Ray, because he was late for a meeting.
Yeah. Well, he's the one who got him to disqualify our good friend Cedric. Yeah.
So when you're pretending, Bob, that you're not sure like who Shawn Ray is, that's who Shawn Ray is. If you want to have that private conversation with me, that I'll probably blab all over this show, so we probably can't. Cedric was kicked out of that show by Lee Thompson, and the cheerleader was screaming rule books and everything else.
Yep.
Well, our friend, the beloved Shawn.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. He was the cheerleader on that one. All right. What?
The despicable of despicable things.
Well, he likes to get behind these like terrible things and pretend he's like defending the honor of bodybuilding.
I'm a reporter. I'm a retired bodybuilder. I'm a reporter now. I'm a reporter. I got a salary from Steve Black.
Yeah. All right. Let's. I want to ask you a question about Nick Walker now.
Yeah.
Pull up a picture of him. If Nick Walker was in this lineup at the Arnold, this is what he's looking like now. How do you think he'd do? Has his physique returned to the way it should, or is he still on the comeback trail in your mind?
Oh, he looks good. He's on the comeback trail. He just let's see, zoom it in.
Yeah, I'm zooming it. I think his legs still haven't really come up in size to what they were, but I could be wrong.
The first thing I noticed between, like, let's say that shot and Samson's shot is the lower body.
Yeah.
So compare Derek with Samson, I said it's a challenge. If you want me to compare Nick with Samson, it's the lower body.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think that Nick is back to what he was before
Dave, I'll tell you this.
all the problems kicked in.
There's a crazy bro science of bodybuilders do lose their legs at times, right? Were your legs big all the way through your career?
Yeah, I would say my legs stayed pretty consistent because that was one thing I wasn't injured. So I was able to train them my whole, even through the latter part of my career. Yeah.
So some people, their legs.
I stopped when I was 35, Chris. So I never got to that later. When it's the guys that get to the 40s that they start losing their legs. So my legs were still really good, I think, at that point.
Dave would have been one of these guys renewing that damn pro card if he ever got it.
Yeah, if I had a pro card, I would certainly renew it. I certainly wouldn't let it lapse. I wouldn't be so lazy as to let it lapse.
You would have been elite priest. It'd be like, they'd do this. Like Lee said, you got to compete a certain amount of times. To say, Dave, I'm looking at the list. What are you competing in? You say all of them.
Yeah. Maybe that's an idea. Why don't we? How they have this new rule now. We're always talking about like pro cards and how it's so easy to get a pro card. Maybe there should be like a level 2 pro card that when you reach that status because you've won a pro show or something like that, now you're grandfathered in to never be able to lose. In other words, you have the pro card for life now because you've achieved the level 2 status. If you're only level 1 status and you don't renew the card or you don't compete a certain amount of times, it's subject to you losing it. So
you know what's so funny? When you brought up the new rule, I almost said, maybe if you win a show, it should because that really counts for something. Because to win,
it should validate you in some way, raise you to another level.
If you win, anyone who wins a pro show who won a pro show in 2024 and in bodybuilding, damn good pro.
Yeah.
Year 224. Even if you just won once, you're pretty darn impressive.
This is a pretty dumb comment by this person. The harsh reality is Nick and Derek will never be Mr. Olympia. Well, guess what, guy? Derek was already Mr. Olympia, so you must be living under a rock or something like that. and as Dexter Jackson said, Chris, remember what he told us? Once you're Mr. Olympia, always Mr. Olympia, and he always reminds everyone of that. He was reminding William Bonac of that when William Bonac was breaking balls.
People, it's on my mental. It's when I look up.
Yep.
Funny how I have one.
He's always going to be Mr. Olympia. Oh wait, so he's 100% right in that regard. All right, so Nick Walker, we don't think he's back in true form yet. All right, let's see what else. What do you think is going to happen? Martin Fitzwater, Nick Walker, part 2. At the Pittsburgh and the New York this year. Who wins?
I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be. The fact that they're in it, they're going to bring out the best in each other.
They did it last year, but Martin brought a really good look. Nick wound up winning.
Yeah,
What happened again?
Good Vito's doing it, so don't count him out. Dave.
Oh, there's another freak of nature. What is that going to be his debut?
He lost to Martin by a point last year, Dave.
I'm saying, is that going to be his debut? Debut meaning his 25 debut, not his pro debut.
His debut? No, I think he's going to do Arnold South America first. But he's going to do New York for sure.
Okay. Did you? I can't believe this is really gives you a lot of relevance. Martin Fitzwater is only 28 years old, Chris. he just turned 28. It just goes to show you how young he still is, and he's still got his best years ahead of him. He's got probably another at least 4 good growth years in his body, and so we're going to see this kid grow into some kind of crazy freak. I'm convinced of it. Really nice.
Yeah, he's very good.
Yeah. So we'll see him on stage. What's the latest? Let's see what the latest Carlos Thomas update is. What have you heard anything from him? I haven't heard from his father at all.
No.
Carlos, how come you not call me? Usually I got an update by now.
Call the father. He'll probably pick up on the first ring.
Yeah. Here's Carlos from last year. Oh, I was just going to play something. Sid's already beat me to it. Is that the same picture or these new ones, Sid? He looks so big, man, this kid. I'm trying to think what his body looks like. He's this week, okay. If he's if you're posting pictures, you know you like the way you look. He looks very full, doesn't he?
Yep.
His legs are a little reminiscent of Ronnie Coleman's. You know how like Ronnie had those massive, massive legs, but they weren't like, they were so big almost they didn't have the separation of like, that grainy separation, but they were just enormous, I feel like I'm looking at Ronnie's legs, even though his legs are shorter than Ronnie's. He's got the same Ronnie muscle on his leg.
Dave. Coleman's the lack of myostatin. That's what I read on Instagram.
Yeah, I'm sure it must be right. Ronnie was grainy, granity from behind, but at the front of his legs were always huge. Just blocks of like mass. There was like no like crazy separation. Brandon Curry update from this week too. All right, put it up. Let's see what Brandon looks like. Brandon's dangerous. I got news for you. A lot of people count him out, but you know what? Look, notoriously in every show, there's always someone who doesn't come in shape, or there's always a lot of people, I should say, that don't come in shape. I got to tell you, Brandon's starting to look like Robbie Robinson as he's getting older, doesn't he? With the beard. I could swear I'm looking at Robbie Robinson in his 50s here.
The way he stands from behind like that. That's how Robbie stands.
No, I know. With the hat. That Robbie had that same hat. I think Robbie might have given him that hat, actually.
Section, the arms.
He looks like Robbie Robinson. I'm telling you. He should go train with Robbie. Maybe instead of going out to Dubai, or Kuwait, he should go to Robbie Robinson.
He's in Tennessee. Someone said they saw him in the gym there.
He hasn't. He didn't go over to Oxygen this year. I got to say, Brandon Curry does not suck. I don't know anyone who says that is a fucking moron. There's no way. Look at it. It looks good. Fucking legs look the best I've seen him look. He could surprise a lot of people. What he's got working against him is that his age is working against him. But looking at that body, you would never know what his age is. Robbie Robinson looked great into his 50s, like his mid 50s. He was looking great, and I think Brandon will continue to improve into his. Probably when he hits around 60, he'll start showing his age. But he still looks really freaking big, and his conditioning is. I hope he doesn't diet too much down from that what he is now. He looks like he's almost ready to go.
You get your glasses, David Sherwin-Williams, like me?
I get them from Team U. I get 6 pair at a time because I lose them all the time and I break them.
Buying a Team U.
It's like $4 for like 6 pairs. Yeah.
Yeah, but Trump's gonna put the 1,000% tariffs on it. Those glasses.
You're right. Team U's gonna go out of business when Trump fucking takes office. All right. I'm okay. I'm on board with making America great again, so I'm good. Clarida update. Let's see the Clarida update, Sid. I keep forgetting Clarida's doing the Open. Oh, he looks like a little tank, this kid. Look how big he is. Yeah, you got to give him the credit. He's like a Lee Priest. He's like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm doing the Open. I don't give a shit. He did the Open against Bumstead and Martin and what's it called, Prague. He's now jumping in the Arnold. This kid's you know what? He's smart because you know what? Let's say he comes in 3rd or 4th. He'll probably make more money 4th or 5th place at the Arnold than he will winning the Olympia at 212.
Right.
So he might as well make some money. I agree. I think he's making some very good decisions here. It's 190 pounds. He looks like he's 240. Remember when Kevin English was winning the 202 Olympia, and we would see him at Bev's, and he was like 260, and I'd be like, Kevin, how the hell are you going to make weight? How are you going to make 202? The class was 202 at the time. Like, how are you going to make 202? You're going to lose 58 pounds, and he would do it. I don't know how he did it. He would torture himself and do it. So at least what's his name doesn't have to. Clarida doesn't have to lose any weight because he has to make 212, and he's only, what is he, 5'2", and so he only has to. He's already at 190. He can weigh whatever he wants on stage. He just wants to come and shred it. He put his size back on for sure too, because we know he overdieted for that Olympia.
Yeah.
And he looked better in Prague, but he looks even better here. I think he got back the size he lost. It took him I knew it wasn't going to happen in 6 weeks, but I think now we can probably say that Clarida is back to where he needed to be. And I think that he'll make a good show. Look, if he places anywhere in the top 5 at the Open Arnold Classic, that is a victory for him. He's going to make a nice paycheck. People are going to be talking about him. He's going to stay relevant. And I think that it's a good move for him. You know what? And you know what? Maybe he'll do a couple smaller pro shows and win. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Clarida say, screw it to the 212 class and try to go and do the Open Olympia this year.
Well, I mean, you know, the 212 is a nice title to have, even if, 2 times.
Yeah.
Hands full, obviously, with Keon.
Right.
He
can beat the bigger guys more easily than he can beat Keon because he matched up too well with Keon. That's the problem.
Absolutely. I mean, he can beat some big guys. Keon has a lot of unique stuff going on right now for his physique that makes it hard to beat him simply because he's got flow and shape, and now he has size and condition. He had flow and shape, and then he had flow and shape with good size, and then like 2 years ago when he won, he got size, and then this year he got the polish. It's like the perfect automobile,
Yeah. Let's see Colossus Ken, Sid. You got an update from him? He's going to be doing New York Pro. Jesus, he got big, man. How much size did he put on, Sid? Did he say? Big dude. Well, what does he weigh here, Sid? Big, man. What do you think, Chris? What's your analysis, Chris?
He looks good. You just you just showed me a lot. You just showed me Olympians, so that's how it's. I guess the compliment is for him to look good after seeing Clarida, after seeing Brandon, after seeing
right.
Ramy, after seeing Samson. To say that he looks good is a compliment. But you showed me superlative.
He's got a long time till he gets on stage, so yeah, he's still bulking. He hasn't started dieting yet, I'm sure, or if he did, he just started. So, all right, look, we got a lot of good. It seems like we got a lot of good talent going to be on the stage this year in 25. Obviously, we get the Arnold Classic coming up. By the way, I booked my trip. I got a direct flight on Breeze Airlines. Do you know what Breeze Airlines is?
Yeah, I've flown Breeze. I think they'll charge you like $500 for the bag, but
no, it was 138 round trip for the ticket. If I wanted the seat where it includes the bag, which I figured you have to do, it's an extra $138. But so it was still under $300 for round trip. I didn't care because I got a direct flight out of Fort Myers, which is almost impossible. Milo Sarsha, Fitted 61 challenge update. Let me see it, Sid. Put it up before we wrap the show up.
Oh, Milos checks all the boxes.
He's got the symmetry. He's got mass. He's pretty big. I got news for you.
Dude, he's gigantic you think he's really like training hard? He looks incredible for he's recreational trains like every other 61-year-old.
No, I guarantee he's probably doing giant sets here and insulin. He's doing it. He's trying to, he's proving his system works here. Now he looks good. Milos looks very good. This is impressive for 61 years old. I'm impressed. I think his arms look bigger than they ever looked too. Maybe he's got some kind of special protocol he's doing now. I take my hat off. It's hard at our age to be able to go to the gym, not only put the size on, but then take the fat off, especially if you're not really in shape. And so Milos trains hard. I noticed he was bigger. You know what? He's also really big. Cormier's really big too. Whenever I run into these guys, I'm like, what do you weigh? Cormier's like, oh, I'm 280. I'm like, you're 280?
No, Victor Martinez.
Well, Victor's huge too, but I guarantee Victor's not as heavy as these guys because Victor's an illusion.
Post a picture of Victor like 6 weeks out from the Arnold, just walking around.
Well, he's got to get ready for the after party, so Victor's got. I always see Victor, Cormier, and at the some place I run into them after the show's over. Let's see Victor here. I'll pull Victor up.
Victor's the best, man.
It's amazing that Victor's still going strong because Victor had so many setbacks, in his career.
Victor's the most youthful looking, whatever he is age. Victor was at Guy's gym opening, and he looked like he was getting ready for a pro show.
The best. Is that when you helped him right there?
No, I think that's the Olympia.
Oh. Yeah, what a great physique he had. I saw him we did a guest posing. I think I've talked about this before in Spain, Barcelona, Spain together. This was in maybe 2000. And I was looking at him on stage. He hadn't done anything as a pro yet. He had just turned pro. And I'm like, look at him on stage. I'm like, man, this guy's got crazy structure. I'm like, he's fucking wide. He's super wide. I'm like, this guy could be really, I said, this guy could be really dangerous if he ever gets in shape. And then next thing you know, a couple of years later when he worked with you, he got in crazy shape for that Night of Champions, and he was just fucking blew everyone away. And then he just took the scene by storm, so.
Yeah. I remind Shawn, say that again so that Shawn Ray can realize that was me who coached him. I'm only competitive. The handy question is doesn't enter my stratosphere.
Yeah.
Apparently, I'm shallow enough negative into Shawn Ray's face.
Yeah.
Who coached him?
I don't know. Some Aceto guy. I don't know. You weren't in the gym with him, though. Shawn seems to confuse that. He thinks that you're an in-gym trainer. He thinks you train people in the gym. All right. Well, we're going to wrap up this show. A lot of good updates from all the competitors out there. Hope you guys are having an enjoyable, relaxing January. February gets a little bit, start picking up the pace a little bit. And then obviously we get into the Arnold and all the shows start up in March. So it's going to be an exciting year.
Going to snow day, first day.
You got snow. We have no snow here in Florida. So I'm enjoying not being up north. So enjoy your snow. You can shovel your driveways out and do whatever the heck you do in the snow. I don't have to deal with that crap. And
I don't drive.
Who shovels your snow? Do you make your kids shovel?
When I was a kid, we would have blizzards beyond blizzards in Maine, and my would make me go out there and shovel that driveway, and it would be up to and I used to shovel it, and I said to myself, I will never, ever, once I get out of my father's house, I will never.
So who shovels your driveway?
Come and take care of the snow.
Who shovels?
Company comes. Landscaping company. They do landscaping in the summertime, and they do snow removal in the winter.
What do they charge for snow removal these days from your driveway?
100 a storm to come push it.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
Yeah, not bad. I mean, God.
The rates haven't really gone up too much, so. I do miss. I used to like shoveling when I was a kid because I like to make money. That's why when I miss, But I don't miss the snow now. I just decided, you know what? The best way to not have to shovel your driveway is not to live in New York, and that's what I did. I got out of here.
I do want to say it's sitting right over there. Next week, I didn't take.
I said Chris was nervous. He ran out of fiberlights. He's like, Dave, I need 2 tubs.
I went to Miami, and I realized I didn't pack it with me. And the reason I realized I didn't pack it with me is
couldn't poop.
So it would have been the only time that Shawn Ray was accurate when he says shit.
And on that beautiful note, Chris, as we say every week, here at Heavy Muscle Radio with Heavy Muscle Radio.
The truth, Shaun, really does hurt.
Good night, everyone.